Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another segment of Straight Talk with Grover Thornton. Tonight we have a couple of guests tonight who's running for office. Uh, we want you to listen very attentively when I begin to speak with them. But I just want to say that this is one of the most critical times in the history of this nation. And therefore, it's very important that we vote. The future depends really on us. We must make a decision whether this country we want to go forward or whether we want to remain in the past. And no accomplishment happens without vision and good leadership. So tonight, I want to say that we are welcoming first again as guest here tonight is Miss Patty Hewitt, who is going to win, I'm sure, to represent us for the first congressional district. She is a Democrat opposing Republican. What the gentleman's name is? Buddy Carter. Thank you, sir. Buddy Carter. Now, Mr. Carter has been representing this first congressional district since Mr. Jack Kingston retired from that position and ran for the Senate, which he lost, and he became a lobbyist for himself to make money. But the fact of the matter is simply this: Mr. Carter does not care anything about us. He just worships Mr. Trump. I have never known Mr. Carter to attend anything where black folk were involved. Secondly, when the district was drawn, then they split the district that would leave a lot of black folk out and majority of white people in that district. And Ms. Patty is trying to break that barrier. And we're here tonight to have her here to speak to you. And we need a good representative from the first district. Now, I say this too, that in order for Ms. Kamala to be president, I hope she wins. I'm going to keep positive thinking. And when she does win, she will have to have the House of Representatives and the Senate to accomplish anything that she wishes to do. She cannot do that. Some things she might be able to do on executive order, but very, very, very little. All money orders, all money dealings must first start in the House of Representatives. That's the Constitution. Ms. Patty, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Mr. Thornton. Great to see you.
And I'm happy to have you here again because I know I've been talking to you recently, and you have been working very, very hard. What's your outlook? What does it look like for you?
I feel very positive. I've been crisscrossing the district, as you know, for the past year or so, but particularly these last couple of weeks. And I am very confident that this district is ready for new leadership. And when I say this district, I mean the whole district, all the counties. People out there in these rural areas are working so very hard to get the vote out. So we are ready not only to put our candidate in the White House, but also to change the power dynamics of this district by flipping this seat and putting it back where it belongs, in Democrat hands.
That's wonderful, wonderful. And I'd like to make this statement is that many Republican people are not voting for Republicans this year because of Mr. Trump. The man has no character. He has no decency. He has no respect. And what I cannot understand for the life of myself, how in the world would people sit down and want a man who has 34 felonies? And I want you to know now, 3 trials that he still has to attend. A man got no decency. He's saying all kinds of things about his opponent. He's disgraceful. And many men and women who worked in this campaign in his office and worked for him saying he's not fit to be president of the United States. We need to make people like yourself and other good Democrats to make a change in this nation. Now, let me ask you, Miss Patty. You don't mind me calling you Miss Patty, do you?
No, not at all.
Miss Patty, tell the audience We'll be voting in about 2 weeks or so. Tell the audience what some of the main things that you want to accomplish when you win the seat.
You know, the whole focus of my campaign are the working families and the working poor of this district. So the things that I want that are very important to me, and I think they are priority items for working families, is to help reduce their costs of the everyday things they need in order to go to work. So for example, to expand Head Start programs, to create universal pre-K, and to provide sliding scale daycare so that working families can go to work, single parents can go to work more easily and more affordably, keep more money in their pocket, create more prosperity for their families. These are the kind of policies that that are very important to me, and I intend to focus on these. But that's not all. Vice President Harris in the White House, I want to make sure that we pass the Women's Health Protection Act so that women are no longer treated as medical second-class citizens, but that we have our rights returned to us, our rights that were taken away from us without our consent, that they are given back to us. And that is very important to me. I know it is to VP Harris, all the women in this country, and many men as well. I've talked to many men about the issue of shepherding their wives, shepherding their daughters, through these kinds of complications that can be deadly, just like we saw in the state just a few weeks ago. We lost 2 of our citizens unnecessarily. So these are laws that I absolutely want to focus on.
And what I cannot understand, I agree with you 100%. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're listening to Ms. Patty, but I want to say this, that she's saying a lot of the same things that the candidate, Ms. Harris, is saying. And that's simply because these laws are very unconstitutional, and a woman ought to make up her own mind and her own decision what to do with her body. And I just hope and pray that you will be successful, because she does need every Democrat that she could get to vote for her.
Yes.
Personally, I don't believe
we only need a few. We only need a few Democrats to flip the House. And this can definitely be one of those seats that we can contribute to putting the House in Democratic hands.
Yes, ma'am, because Georgia definitely is in play for senators and representatives. So I hope we'll be successful like that. And I wish you a lot of luck. And I really want y'all, the citizens, to get out and vote. If there's ever been a time to vote, it is now. It's the man wants to be a dictator. His friends are people, powerful men in their governments, like in Russia. Putin never saw a president so close to an enemy like that. I just don't understand it. And a lot of Democrats are catching the heat over the war in the Middle East, in Jerusalem. But like I said in the last show, people will have to learn how to read and know what's going on. War is war. War is killing anybody you can. That's the nature of that game. So all they're talking about is Palestine. And like I told people last month, Palestine has never been a state. They're human beings. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. They need self-determination. But they're under Iran. Iran is footing the bill. Iran is pushing the Hezbollah and the rest of these people against the Jewish people. And I want everybody to know again that they have been attacking the Jewish people since 1948. And like I told you, get the Bible, the Word of God, and read the 2nd chapter of Genesis, and you will see that God says to Abram, he was not Abraham at that time. God later on during the time changed the name to Abraham, but his name was Abram. 2nd chapter of Genesis, the work of God, the Word of God. And here's what it says, quote, "This day I give you this land, from the land of Egypt to the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates." So that's number one. Number two, I'm not saying that this should not be compassionate to the people in Gaza. And I always say, why would Gaza, the Palestinians, let these people come into their nation and cause all this violence and disturbance? Because Iran, and you will be a very good help to this president when she wins, because all of this depends on our government, state government, approving any negotiations that they may come into existence.
What you're saying really should remind us all what is at stake in this election with regards to leadership. The world is a volatile place. There is a lot of danger and risk out in the world these days. There's a lot of instability. And we need a sure, experienced hand at the helm of the largest, richest, and most powerful country on the face of the earth, which is the United States. We cannot put our country in the hands of someone like Donald Trump and his vice president, both of whom have proven themselves to be unstable and untethered from reality or truth. We need a sure hand at the helm, and that is Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And that is really the choice that we have to make today. So thank you for pointing that out. It's so very important. Voting starts October 15th, early voting. And if you want to find out more about me, you can find out more about me at Patty, PATTIFOR, Georgia.com.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to say it again tonight with my other two guests, and that is this. I want these men, stop this foolishness about this lady, about Ms. Harris. Two of the tough women that I know in politics, and this nation can attest to that, and that is Ms. Golda Meir, both of these women are dead now, Ms. Golda Meir of Israel and Margaret Thatcher of England. They call her the Iron Lady. Both of these ladies were tough, and Ms. Harris is tough. Don't care what that stupid man, Mr. Trump, says. That man has a mental problem. I was listening last year when people were evaluating him. It was a psychiatrist, was a medical person, and a psychologist, which is a behavior person. And both of them say the same thing. The man has a mental problem. No question about it. He was talking all about himself, but he had not said one thing but what he want to do. And you're saying here tonight to the constituents in the first congested district, the things that you would like to do and accomplish with Ms. Harris. So I want to say this to you, ma'am, in conclusion, that I want them to get out and vote. I want these men to stop this foolishness and vote for this woman. First place, me being a black man, this lady being a black woman, he's bringing her down, calling her all kinds of terrible things. She's not intelligent. How a woman going to get all those compliments if she wasn't intelligent? The man has a mental problem. All he talks about is himself. He never has to say one thing he want to do to uplift families, like you say. Child care. A lot of these women want to work, but they don't have anybody to keep their children. So we hope you much luck in this endeavor, ma'am. And I know that people are going to support you. And I really thank you for being on this program tonight and coming on to tell people your desire, things you want to accomplish, and be with the new elected president. I'm going to be positive she's going to be the next president and the first woman president. So we thank you very much.
Mr.
You want to say it? You want to say
I just want to thank you. No, I just want to thank you. It is always an honor to be with you. It is always an honor to be on the show. Thank you so much for everything that you do in order to help educate the public. You're always educating, you're always teaching, and that is a wonderful, wonderful trait. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Good luck to us all. Let's make sure that we get out and vote and bring somebody with you. Get out and vote and bring a friend.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much again.
Bye-bye.
All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, I'm going to take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Hey there. Are you ready to amplify your voice and embrace your passion? Tune in to Our Black Media Network, where community comes first and every story matters. We're here 24/7, delivering powerful content on everything from financial literacy to the latest in sports and mental health. We are unapologetically real, reflecting the heartbeat of our community with programs that inspire, empower, and drive change. Join us on all major media platforms to celebrate our unique voices and advocate for the change we want to see. With over 50K monthly viewers, our network is your go-to destination for authentic, engaging content. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the change. Tune in to Our Black Media Network today and let your voice be heard.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. And you may have hear some repetition, but it's going to be good repetition. My second guest tonight, a very distinguished person here, and I'm very honored because he and I are in the same fraternity, the Alpha fraternity. He's a Chatham County chairman, Reverend Ellis, Chester Ellis, and I also have, I don't have him here, but I'm going to mention that Mr. Johnson, Van Johnson, the mayor of the city, is also one of my fraternity brothers. But I got to say that I'm like Jesus, that Jesus loved everybody, but for some reason, he just favored Peter more than anybody else. Is that right, Rev? I'm just happy to have Reverend Ellis here tonight. Reverend, congratulations to you on your victory so far and coming into my show.
Thank you, sir.
It's an honor to have you, really.
It's an honor
in my home and an honor to have you, period.
Yeah.
But Reverend, I got to say this. I've been in this city a long time, and I know and have known many, many ministers because I've been working in this community since I was 17. And if the Lord God blessed me in 2 weeks, November's a good night, a good month for me. Like I told somebody, brother, like the other day, that November's a good month. She gonna win. And that's my birthday.
All right.
The Lord bless you, sir.
I will celebrate your birthday.
Celebrate my birthday. I'll be 91 years old if the Lord spare me. So every day he must have got me here this long, got me here for a purpose.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So happy to have you here. And you, sir, is running again in a re-election as chairman. And I want ladies and gentlemen to know that Reverend Ellis has a superb job as chairman and the second African-American person to hold this position. Now, Reverend Ellis, I'm a very candid person. That's why I'm not sure straight talk. I tell it like it is. And all my life since you've been in politics, I have never heard not one bad thing about you. Not. And I get around a lot of times. You know that.
If you hear it, keep it to yourself.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, it was bad, I'll be handed now. But you sort of remind me of Billy Graham. That man, nobody has all the years he's been preaching the gospel. Nothing was said bad about that man. But just, of course, the word of God said, be careful when everybody says about you. So sometimes I want people to say something bad about me. But just don't make it too bad. All right, Reverend, happy to have you. Tell us, Reverend Ellis, I know you're up for re-election. Tell us some of the things that, why people really should re-elect you again. Some of the things that you have accomplished since you've been into that position.
Well, let me just say that I'm running on the theme, let the work I've done speak for me, and the work I'm doing speak for me.
Yeah.
One of the first things that I encountered in 2021, I took office in January, and in February, I had to go to the Pentagon to represent Chatham County. They will get the Air National Guard, the Air Guard, was about to close the Combat Readiness Center, which is located at Travis Field at the airport. And they were going to move that unit, the 165th Air Wing unit, they were going to move it to Colorado. Mm-hmm. Well, I went and joined forces with our two senators, all the congressmen in the state of Georgia, and we met with all the top brass from the Air Force, which the Air National Guard is under. And we were able to not only save the Combat Readiness Center, but we were able to get for the Combat Readiness Center $450 million for the new C-130Js. Now, the military used the C-130Js for one thing, but here's what Chatham County used the C-130J. They're the Hurricane Hunters.
Okay.
Those are the ones, and in fact, the two new ones that we already have in place were the ones who flew into our latest 3 hurricanes. Okay, and when I say the last 3, is because, one of them turned away. But we still had to have the barometric pressure and all the rest. And so those airmen fly the new C-130Js, which is the newer model, which can fly longer, all right, gather more data. They have top of the line electronics and equipment in it. And so that serves Chatham County because we're able now to get more data during hurricane season. As the storms build up in the Atlantic or build up in the Gulf Coast, all right, down in the Gulf of Mexico, then we're able to get that firsthand knowledge of what and how the directions of those things will change. So keeping the 165th here is not only for that purpose, but 4 times a year, all of pilots in the military, it doesn't matter whether the Army, Navy, Air Force, all those who fly, they come and play war games, and you prepare for war. And
yeah.
And so we have a 15-mile territory before you hit international waters off of the coast of Tybee. You also have from down at Camden Bay, where you have the new set of Ohio submarines, Trident submarines, nuclear submarines coming in. And then you have a new unit over here at Parris Island from the Marine Corps. So we cover the whole area from the beginning of Georgia at the Florida coast all the way down to the beginning of North Carolina. And so our military is able to play war games with our pilots. That's why we have some of the best pilots in the world. And so there was a chance that we were going to lose that. Okay, and so going to and talking to all of the military leaders and letting them know how important that was for it to stay here, and the kind of training that happens in Chatham County and in the coastal region cannot be duplicated anywhere. All right. And so that was the very first feat we had, but we also started to sit down and talk to our federal officials and our state officials about what Chatham County needs. And throughout my whole administration, we have dealt every day with what they need. Every morning I wake up, I talk about what I can do to help Chatham County become better. All right. And I can honestly say we have fared better. We have, there is no place in Chatham County that doesn't flood one way or another. So we have put in infrastructure money, about the infrastructure money, and monies have been put in place. We discovered that there are certain parts of Chatham County in the unincorporated areas where fire hydrants were not in the right place. And it came to us one night, there was a fire on Chevis Road, and the closest fire hydrant was 1.5 miles away. And so we went and we lobbied with our congressmen, and we got in the congressional budget. And let me say this too, no brag, no facts, straight talk.
Straight talk.
This is the first time that Chatham County has ever received a federal line item in the congressional budget. Money designated from Chatham County can anywhere but Chatham County.
Well, that's good.
But we were able to get $1.9 million to put fire hydrants closer to people's house, and how that affects the citizens of Chatham County is it helps with your insurance rate. You know, your insurance rate, part of it is calculated based upon how close you are to fire hydrants.
Yes, sir.
And so we started out, we bought from our engineering department, we bought them drones, put the drones in the air to map out everywhere in Chatham County, City of Savannah, Pool of Bloomingdale, unincorporated Chatham, just where fire hydrants were. All right. And then we started to calculate how many houses were within 1,000 yards of every fire hydrant. So then we were able to present to our congressman and our senator what our was. And we've got the $1.9 million. We just didn't stop there, knowing again now that Chatham County is a coastal area, there's flooding. Okay. We were able to point out to them something that happened to Chatham County in 1996. And let me say, in doing that, we have to give Floyd Adams his props. Floyd Adams took FEMA money and bought land where it was flooded. And because of what Floyd did in 96, the city of Savannah now has $43 million that they're using for flooding and drainage down in the Carver Village, Cloverdale, and the Springfield Canal. Because the Springfield Canal is what overflowed. We didn't stop there. We also have $8 million in the newly developed Pooler area that we got in the budget for Pooler. We went to get $2.5 million for Tybee Island so that we could help with the beach erosion. But my most proudest moment of my being chairman of Chatham County is that we went to the congressional budget and got $640,000 along with $400,000 from the county's ARPA funds. And then we got the private sector involved so that we now have in the bank $2.5 million that we are going to renovate the May Street YMCA.
Oh, that's wonderful.
There will be a new pool, swimming pool and things put in. And then we're going to do all the maintenance work that we need to do to bring it up to par.
But that's the county's going to do that, and that's in the city.
The county was the spearhead of this project. I met with the board of directors of the May Street Y, and they asked for help. And I promised them one thing: I may not get you what you want, but I'm gonna get you what you need. And so the $2.5 million represent the renovation that's needed for now. Let me say this to you now: as I go to work with the state and the federal officials, okay, I just don't represent unincorporated Chatham, but I represent entire Chatham County.
Good.
So the city of Savannah is in Chatham County. If I get money for Chatham County, it's for the city of Savannah.
That's right? Excellent. Excellent.
It does not bother me that what the territory is.
What the territory.
Right? It's just that we cover all 33 miles wide, or 27.7 miles long.
Let me ask you this question, Reverend. I'm glad to hear you say that. I don't know the interaction you in the city, when I say you represent the city, and the kind of have. But I do know with it, one time you started this business about before your tenure, one police department. And for some reason, there was some kind of mess. The county said that they were not responsible for the breakdown, and vice versa, the city said this. But now what's kind of concerned me is this. Up to date, like I asked you when we met with the senator, this infrastructure money that the president said for the first time with bridges and all that, when that bridge was knocked down by the ship there in Maryland. Mm-hmm. But the infrastructure money was supposed to be used for bridges and roads. Right. Then I like to know this. Like I asked you, when I asked you that question, mm-hmm. why the streets of Savannah are so broken up? Now, if you take on Montgomery Cross Road, going back from this way up to Abercorn, on the right-hand side, that whole stretch almost is bumpity. In my house, go to right to the left to the blinking light, make a right to go to Walgreens drugstore. Same area. Bumpity. 3 years I've been calling about that same thing. And when I'm driving my car, I stop. Well, you go think fast like that, you knock out your front end and all of that. If anybody behind me, too bad. I take my time, I go very, very slow. Mm-hmm. 3 years, that has not been done. So when I heard that the president got all this, and the Congress passed all this infrastructure money, I ride a lot of time on your area, everything's smooth. I don't see no broken streets nowhere.
Live over there.
Huh?
You ought to live over where I live. They're broken streets now.
No, I'm talking about this way. Mm-hmm. when I'm thinking about that. I know
Okay.
down in the black neighborhood, anywhere you go in the city, in the country, if they live there, something need to be done. Terrible, you know that black folk have always been the last person to get the things done. You know that. But it takes leadership like yourself that you represent not only the area, you bring the money into Savannah, Chatham County.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
And let me say this now. In each one of them, we know we have 8 municipalities in Chatham County.
Yes.
All right. Whenever I go and I plead for money for all of Chatham County,
Yeah.
every municipality and the county have to do what they call an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. All right. That's what the money is for and how it's going to be spent. Let me tell you that things in government don't overturn nights. All right. Because I've been fighting for infrastructure money for the last 3 years. This coming Tuesday, I'll leave here and go to DC and be in DC Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I've got a meeting at the White House and then with the senator, with some congressmen. And it's about infrastructure money that we're trying to bring into Chatham County. We have made the first 2 cuts, all right? And that's the way federal money works. You have to get past the first cut, then you have to get past the second cut.
Mm-hmm.
The third cut is when you negotiate what monies you're going to get. I'm aiming for $53 billion, all right, for all of Chatham County.
But let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you have a dialogue with the mayor on a lot of these issues?
All the time. The city manager, you must understand this now, wherein I am the chairman, I'm also the CEO of the county.
Yeah.
When it comes to city government, the mayor, the city manager,
Yeah,
that
right.
manage things. Right?
Yeah, I know that, but
So
that's
we have to have those kind of conversation. And I can tell you, both on the state level and on the federal level, we sing one song.
well, that's good. That's what I was
And
asking.
I'm
you.
the spokesman for that song.
That you do have the relationship
Yes.
because you like I said
Oh,
previously.
we fuss and fight now. Tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
fuss and fight, but they don't get out.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to fuss and fight. We're going
Because,
to have some knockdown,
in-
drag outs.
In my
But
judgment,
in the end, what's best
yes,
for all of us?
for all of us.
That-
Because in my judgment, it was a bad move, and it copied that pattern from Jacksonville, one police department. But I don't know where the breakdown came with the police department. They lost some money, as far as I'm concerned, because they had to restrike all those cars, take off one thing, put it in county police. You see what I'm saying?
Well, we already had. Now, I walked into that.
I'm just saying that.
What I mean by I walked into that was when I was elected
yes.
as the 8th district representative.
Well, I'm just saying
The fight was on as to whether we were going to keep one police unit or whether we.
But see what I'm trying to say, Reverend Ellis, is that the breakdown came for some reason I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying the money that was wasted
Mm-hmm.
could have been avoided if there had been some kind of dialogue where there had been good communication between both of y'all. But at least you've taken that over, you move the county forward, and that's what's important. Your leadership.
We have to deal. We have to work with the cards we are dealt.
Now he's up for re-election, ladies and gentlemen, and now he has already explained a lot of things that he has done and what he has done. He should be re-elected. He's coming to you for the support, like we just said, the parties are voting. That's the only way we can get forward and do anything for any country to exist. The citizens participate to bring about the change, and that's where you come in. When you see people that are doing good leadership, that will move the county, Savannah, Chatham County forward, and that's exactly what you're doing. And this question I want to ask you is about this the tax base. How's that going?
We have been able to work within the taxes we collected.
Yeah.
Since I got since I became chairman, the tax base is still the same. We have not raised taxes on. In fact, one year we were year before last at the coming out of 22 going into 23, we were able to give a $500,000 rollback, okay, which helped.
Yeah.
But here's what the situation is: we roll back to where Chatham County has one of the lowest tax rates in the state.
Well, that's
Okay?
great.
And we did not raise taxes. But here's what happens with us as we come along, okay? Property value increase. See,
Yeah.
because property value is dealt upon supply and demand.
Exactly.
You know that there's a whole lot of demand for housing. We
Very
have
much so.
teachers now who work every day who can't afford a house. We have nurses.
That's what the lady talked about being the president.
That's right. We have first responders, firefighters who can't afford a house. So what the county did was we partnered with Habitat for Humanities. We went out to Port Wentworth. We bought 18 acres of land. 11 of those 18 acres will be Habitat housing in the Habitat model because we keep the price down. More people can afford them.
Exactly.
Right? And so by coming up with plans of that nature,
yes,
and we're in the process now of looking further into that to create more houses. I'll tell you one of the things that people don't realize is that right across the street from you where you live is Hunter.
Yeah.
Right outside your door, right across.
That's right.
All right. 70% of the soldiers who are stationed at Hunter have to live off base and can't live on base. All right. Their housing allowance for the military does not allow them to afford an apartment. 2-bedroom apartments now in Chatham County are running anywhere from $2,200 a month.
It's a disgrace.
To $3,200 a month.
It's a disgrace.
And their housing allowance is not that high. And so what we have done is we have gone in and talked with the military of how we can partner with the military to get housing for the soldiers, just like the teachers, just like the hospital workers, just like the first responders, just like the fire, and get the pricing down. And so the way we do that is that we get federal tax.
I'm Patty Hewitt, and I'm worried about our future.
Last one?
I think about my grandkids and the belief that they deserve every opportunity. And what you deserve, what coastal Georgia deserves, is someone who cares more about their community than about corporate profits and big pharma.
I'll see you later.
All right, thank you. Small business owners and hardworking Georgians are the heart of our community.
Good day.
Not CEOs, not lobbyists, not shareholders. But who's taking care of them? It's time to ask yourself, what do you want from your government? This is our year to stand up against what we know is wrong. No more DC politicians invading our home life. No more racism that kills dreams and spreads violence. And no more corporate greed at the expense of workers' rights and our environment.
So what would be the most meaningful help to you?
I've spent the last 8 years working behind the scenes, mobilizing our communities for positive change. And while that is really important work, I can't stand by and allow the same tired politicians to run this country, the same ones who've neglected the real needs of Georgians. I'm ready to take our seat in Congress so I can fight for you and your families.
I vote for you.
Thank you, my darling. I love you. This isn't about party lines. This is about voting for a better future for more Georgians. Enough is enough.
Okay. All right, Reverend Ellis. So we have about 3 or 4 more minutes left, and you've been a very good guest. And I hope the people listen to all the wonderful things that you've done in your administration to make the lives better. And there's a problem with that rent. Well, one thing that Ms. Kamala wants to do is to give everybody who apply for housing. That doesn't mean you got to have the job, you got to have the income, but she would give you a $25,000 advancement towards a home purchasing. So, Reverend Ellis, we have about 2 or 3 more minutes. I'm gonna let you wind up this little interview with me.
Yes, sir.
And give you the opportunity to go in and speak to my listeners. And I want you to vote. He's worthy. Speak to Reverend Ellis.
Thank you. Let me say to all of you who are listening, we are still in the fight. We have been working with the Vice President and her staff as to how we come up with the plans for housing. And that's why I say to you that we've started before she was running for president to put housing in place when we came up with Pope Wentworth and made the deal. And so we want to keep that going on, and that's a part. So we presented to them the plans we have. And so one of the reasons I want to continue as your chairman of Chatham County and asking all of you for me is because plans take time.
Yeah.
And if we stop now in the middle of the stream, whoever replaces me gonna have to start all over again and won't have that seat at the table. And having a seat at the table makes a whole lot of difference when you're representing Chatham County. So we look to all of you going to the polls. And let me say, one of the other reasons that I'll say to all of the listeners who are listening in tonight, one of the reasons you need to go to the poll and vote for Chester Ellis for chairman of Chatham County is because of Project 2025.
Yes.
Let me tell you, it doesn't matter whether you're on Social Security or whether you're on a fixed or anything else. If Project 2025 comes to the forefront, we all are in trouble.
Yes.
And it does not matter what your income level is, unless you're a billionaire, unless you make more than $400,000 a year.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
It's
going to affect you, and there's going to be some suffering.
Yes, sir.
Those who receive Social Security,
yes,
there is a plan to take away Social Security. So don't get caught with the rope-a-dope or the okie-doke.
That's right.
Stay on task and remember, Chester for Chatham. Those of you who need to know more, those of you who want to help me in this race, go to my website, chesterforchatham.org, and make a contribution to, because I'm in the fight for all of us.
Exactly.
Thank you, and bless, and good day.
Thank you, Reverend Ellis, for
Yes,
being
sir.
on the show. You were very fantastic, and I appreciate it. At this time, ladies, we're going to take a little break, and we bring our contestant in here tonight. Thank you very much, sir,
Got it,
for being
brother.
here, brother.
Hang in there.
All right, brother.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
I'm ready with you.
Yeah.
Who that is?
John.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back on again after a little break. And I hope that we've had two fine contestants on here tonight, Ms. Hewitt and Reverend Dr. Ellis. And both of these people are counting on you to vote. And as I told you when I first came on the show tonight, this is the most critical time to vote in the history of America. This man wants to be a dictator. He wants to own everybody. He wants to say, fire this person, fire that person, if you don't do what he does. And that is this. He does things that he wants to do, and we got to stop that. He's not qualified to be president. And I know these two people that have been on the show tonight so far will be great leaders. We have the third guest of the night, and that is Mr. Coleman.
Yes, sir.
Nice to have you on the show,
It's a
Brother
pleasure
Coleman.
to be here, Mr. Thornton.
I worked very hard with the museum with his daddy,
Yeah.
fine gentleman. I think your daddy used to be a coach one
Yes,
time,
sir.
wasn't he?
Johnson High School, 50 years athletic director.
And he was athletic director of one of the schools,
Saucy Johnson.
Saucy Johnson, athletic director. And he has always been a good friend of mine. His daddy met his son when he ran for office, and he's in a runoff.
Yes, sir.
And it's a very important runoff. And I like to say this. I have been working in the community since I was 17 years old, and I'll soon will be 91. I have never known anybody that has not cared about this community like his daddy. His daddy had a great impact on children, young people, and as football coach and working in the school. But we've had 3 wonderful people that ran for sheriff. Now we've had mayors, county commissioners, representatives on the board of election, on the county commission, representative of city government. But we have never had a black sheriff. Sometimes I look at the television and I see these small communities have black sheriffs.
Yes, sir.
I mean, right here in Georgia.
Right here in Georgia, yes.
I was surprised like Pittsburgh, I think one. But I know in some communities we have sheriffs. That big old city has never had a black sheriff. It was in the 60s or 70s or 80s, whatever it was. Mr. Sam Williams, he's deceased now. I worked in his campaign. He ran for try to be the first black man to be sheriff.
Yes.
And that's number one. And then we had
Mr. Mike Jones.
Mr. MacArthur, isn't it?
Mike Jones first.
Well, I don't care about the order, but I'll go back to Mac Jones. And
Yes.
he was a candidate for sheriff, fine gentleman,
Yes.
personal friend of mine.
Yes, sir.
His wife was a principal of a school,
That's correct.
fine community man.
Mhm.
And now we had Mr. MacArthur.
Yes, sir.
He was the third person. All 3 of these gentlemen. Now, Mr. Williams was way back in the 60s or 70s, way back then. But I'm gonna say the one time I'm gonna use that terminology. Mr. MacArthur and Mr. Jones, both of those gentlemen. And of course, we have a fine gentleman sitting in my house,
Thank you.
in my den here, Mr. Coleman. Now, how you doing, Mr. Coleman?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Groom.
And how's your daddy doing tonight?
He's doing fine.
Fine. Give him my
Yes, sir.
regards. I know
will.
he's been ill in the hospital, but
Yes.
he's coming along
He's
wonderful.
come a long way.
Now you were running for and you were in a runoff campaign.
Yes.
Now I don't know. I never met Mr. Welcher. That's his name.
Yeah.
I understood he was a good man. I never met him, but I heard one time he was in the hospital very, very sick.
Yes.
And I understand he is out of the hospital for what I understood from some friend of mine, and that he's in a wheelchair. You heard anything about that?
I've heard it, but I can't confirm it. But
You can't confirm it.
have heard
I can't confirm it. But the only thing I'm saying, the person being in the wheelchair, and I know he's about 83 years old.
That's correct.
I remember hearing that on the television when he fell ill. But I wish the man well.
Yes.
I'm not wishing no bad luck on anybody other than Trump. I don't hide that. But because he's an evil man. And I would read the fifth song in the Bible, pick it up and read for yourself. But King David said, let death come upon those who are extremely evil. And that's what Trump can't get no more evil than him. But anyway, sir, I know you want to run for this office. And tell us, just give us, talk to the audience right quickly. What really motivated you to want to run for office? You're in a runoff and you got a chance to win. And tell us something differently that's being done now that's not right that you want to correct to make the system a better system as far as the sheriff office is concerned.
Well, the whole thing in itself needs to be reordered, and restructured. We need to bring the sheriff's office up to 21st century law enforcement, 21st century law enforcement. And that consists of several things: improved jail conditions. The conditions of the jail are absolutely deplorable out there. There's a lot of concerns coming out of the community of how individuals are being treated, the lack of programs, the lack of need, the conditions of the food service, the conditions of the medical treatment. The staffing is low. Morale is low internally with the sheriff's office. You know, people are going on their lunch breaks and not coming back to work. It's just not a good situation overall at the Chatham County Sheriff's Office. And see, these are the things that I'm looking forward to address, looking forward to make improvements on, and to bring that sheriff office up into the 21st century. That also includes things such as stronger community engagement. You know, we've got to get back from law enforcement and reconnect with the community. And as the chief law enforcement officer of the county, we need that community engagement between law enforcement and the community. It makes for a better community. It helps with crime issues, and also helps with a safer and a more productive society.
Mr. Coleman, I think when you was on the show last time, you were telling me something that you would like to do. Let me ask you this. Is that department getting enough money from the city to really run that jail?
I think the budget is fine. From the last I checked, Mr. Thornton, the budget was about $56 million towards that jail. Now, the majority or percentage of that budget, the majority of that budget goes toward the jail itself. And then the other half goes toward what they call the enforcement bureau, the enforcement side. That's the civil service, the courts, where the people come in and knock on your door and serve you your papers and your warrants and that type of thing. But the majority of that budget goes to the jail. I know that when Colonel MacArthur Holmes was in charge as the jail administrator, that jail had credentials.
Yes, a lot of people can hear you.
When MacArthur Holmes was in charge of the jail, that jail had credentials and certifications. From my understanding, those things are not in place anymore. I'm not saying that for sure, but if they are not, then we're looking forward to getting that jail recertified, get those credentials back so we can receive that federal and funding that we need to offset costs and expenses at that jail.
You know, I remember hearing one time on the television about Jacksonville.
Yes.
Maybe sometime we need to send our people down to other places and see how they run in this and how they operate in this. Now, I heard there was last year, I believe, or year before, one of the things they do in Jacksonville, if an individual is arrested, particularly a returnee,
yes,
revolving door
yes.
person, that person immediately evaluated mentally.
Yes.
What's your thinking on that?
It's a big part. It's a big part. Right now, the Chatham County Detention Center is the leading provider in mental health services, and we can't be that. Those individuals don't need incarceration, Mr. Grove. They need treatment. They need help.
Absolutely.
Right. And so what's happening now is the taxpayers have been burning down, covering all these ridiculous costs of these individuals being incarcerated when they should be in facilities that's going to help them treat their conditions. And so the jail is not suited. The jail is not a hospital, right? It's not suited to treat those conditions. True. They need to be in places like the Regional and Gateway and these type of facilities that are set up for those.
Yeah, but the jail can have them evaluated.
Right.
The jail can have a psychiatrist,
right,
medical, and have them evaluated, and then refer them to other agencies.
Yes.
See, the one thing I've always despised was that when these people in jail, I'm not talking about violent criminals. Right. We have so many men incarcerated ought to be out. They try to do that now nationally. Mm-hmm. All these thousands of particular black men, and if this kept going on and on and on, the black women ain't gonna have nobody to marry. That's a shame. Too many young men in prison getting hooked up with drugs and all that kind of stuff. Because my own two boys messed with that mess. Mm-hmm. But they got their lives right because we trained them right, they raised them right. Yes. The Bible says, bring up a child where they have it to go. Yes. And when they get older, we'll not depart from it. I give the scriptures when I can to the people.
Yes.
Because that's one thing we don't do. We don't really, I'm not no angel and I ain't no perfect person. But we need to follow God's word.
That's correct.
And that's what Jesus died for, so you can ask for forgiveness. No question about it. So when these young men, another thing, they sit in the jailhouse. Because I remember one time I worked for a corporation and they had to have a part for machinery. And it was way out there off Louisville Road, Georgia Pacific at that time. And I had to go pick the part up from the airport. And I was speeding. Yes. They went to break down the machine and it was broken down. And everybody sitting idle, waiting for that part to get the machine up again. And I was speeding, and the police arrested me. And that's the first time I had been in a jail. And the man was very nice, to tell you the truth. And I waited for the guy to come and pay the fine. Because after I went to judge, you had to fine. And about $60 or something. I had no money like that. And I stayed, so he was coming to get me.
Right.
But he took his own time. The man was very, very nice. I'm in Scoman. We talked and chatted. Over time, that man had to go home. He said, brother, I got locked you up here now.
Oh.
And it had to go for the old jail, right? Within 100 yards almost. He had to put handcuffs on me.
Oh, goodness.
I was so embarrassed. I said, miss, I never done in my life like that. I didn't get these handcuffs. But anyway, the man eventually came and got me out.
Yes.
And he and I were talking. And I would see this guy sitting around playing checkers and doing this, that, and the other. Why can't they put some kind of vocational training for these people if they're going to be there 6 months and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely.
And have a job placement program set up where you can make these men be productive individuals to the society, to the community.
Absolutely. Part of my platform is
So what's your thinking on that if you got that position? Think about doing something like that in the community.
Yes, sir. Part of my platform is having effective rehabilitation and rehabilitation initiative programs.
Right.
Effective is the key word.
Right.
You know, making sure that these individuals, that when they go in there, they receive skill training, you know, things that allow them to come out when they're released from that detention facility back into the community. They can apply these skills to make money and to go to work. And so these are part of my initiatives. I was talking about a group, what I call a CARE unit.
Uh-huh.
The CARE stands for Career and Rehabilitation Efforts Unit.
Right.
That's an initiative that I want to start that says that allows my employees to go out into the community, partner with businesses. And as we get the information on these individuals who have been released from detention,
Right.
find out their skills and their trade, that we partner with these businesses and say that, hey, upon their release date, we want to give them 3 interviews set up according to their skills and to their trade.
That's a good idea.
Promise
Yes.
them a job, but we can
Yes.
give them those interviews to move forward.
And then you make a commitment to them. There ought to be a relationship between the city employees and your organization.
Yes.
And like you said, get these men trained, have somebody on your staff as a job recruiter, find jobs for people, monitor them on the jobs. That's what you're trying to help these guys. They come out there, that's why they're like a revolving door.
That's correct.
Because they don't have nothing to do. So,
Right.
well, I got to have some cigarettes, I got to have some this and that and other. So the first thing they go, hold up somebody. See, now like for instance, my grandson, he just forgot when he came in here one night about 3 or 4 months ago, forgot to lock his truck because they had my grandbaby. He had to get her to the house and get to the restroom, right? And he said he don't know why he just didn't match things like that. He's a human being. Some joker came by late in the morning, went in the truck, and stole his gun, registered gun. So he immediately called the police, and the police showed him a pit where he purchased that pistol, and he gave them the serial number.
Yes.
See, now that person was to go out and rob somebody, steal and all of that. Then that gun, they check. Oh, this is a stolen gun. Yeah,
Right.
you stole that gun. Where did you buy it from? And all of that.
Right.
Because the information
Right.
there.
Because the
But
information
see,
there.
if a person get out and get a job, learn how to be productive,
Right.
then they won't do all these kinds of things. We can cut
Absolutely.
down crime.
Right. We can cut down.
And
crime.
the main thing about it, sir, too, is to pay the people a living wage.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You see, that's one thing I've always hated my country. I hated America for
Fair
this.
wages.
I hate it. They never have been fair with the distribution of the wealth
Yes.
in this nation. They don't even give a person $15 an hour.
Right.
That's terrible. That's a shame.
We're
And
definitely
some people got
gonna-
some jobs make more than that. I'm talking about. As far as the government say you must pay a minimum
Right.
of $15 an hour.
Right.
So you do those kind of things in the jail, other than just locking a person up. All right, take him over time, have to go to court. See that type of thing.
Right. That's right.
And I think that's a good thing on your part that you want to do for the
Yes,
public.
sir.
So to hear Mr. Coleman speak like this, and I got one more minute left, Mr. Coleman. My show time is over. I appreciate you being on this
Thank
show,
you for having me.
and I wish you very luck and
Thank you.
on this job. And I want these people to think that we have never had a black sheriff. Never had a black sheriff. Like we never had a black president, but Obama did it. Now we're hoping to have a first black woman president and the second African American. So I'm gonna give you the last few words, Mr. Coleman.
Yes, sir.
To speak to the people about voting And I want you to keep in mind, we've never had a black sheriff. So go ahead and speak to the public, sir.
Yes, sir. It's so very important, and this election is so critical, so very important that we get out and exercise our right to vote. There's things from the federal level to the state level to our local level. There's so many issues that are so important that affect our lives as citizens of our community and as African Americans. And so I'm encouraging all voters, no matter what race or gender is, that you get out and that you vote. I, Richard Coleman, vote for Sheriff of Chatham County. There are a lot of issues at that jail that need to be addressed. I am prepared to address them. I'm a Georgia certified law enforcement executive, 31 years experience. I have a master's degree in public administration and a bachelor's degree in criminal justice administration. I have the experience. I have the know-how to serve that jail and fulfill your need. And as my motto say, I can't do it by myself, but every individual that's listening to me, that sees me, together we can. We're looking forward to great things in November. Thank you for having me, Mr. Thornton.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. And remember, I won't be able to talk to you when I talk to you again to be at the election. I want to talk with you with a smile on my face. And I don't want to have to condemn nobody while you sit down and didn't vote. Don't complain. Tell everybody to vote.
Vote.
That's the only time that's the only time we're equal to anybody. When you go in there and vote one. We can't go to them lives Mr. Trump say people voted dead and all that kind of stuff. No. Get out and vote. Tell your sister, tell your brothers, and these men don't fall for that foolishness. Get out and let's vote like we never voted before. So God bless you, and have a good night. And thank you for listening to the program. And I hope to speak again in November. Thank you.
Like this.